We talk a lot on this channel about strategies for startups that are up and running, ongoing businesses. Maybe you're raising money, maybe you're trying to figure out the best way to forecast revenue or something like that. But in this video, I wanted to do something a little bit different. We want to talk a little bit about what to do if you're just now starting out. You're a first-time entrepreneur, or you've come up with a business idea and you're not really sure exactly what to do next. Whenever you're starting a company, it can be a black box. There's a lot of unknowns out there, but you'll notice that there are a lot of people out there that seem to have this repeat success. There are people that leverage a repeatable process, and these are those serial entrepreneurs that you see out there that are able to seemingly create business after business after business. And a lot of that process has to do with validating their idea, validating the company. And that's what I want to talk about today. So if you're just getting started and this is the first time that you're starting a company, or you have an idea and you're not really sure where to go from here, this is the video for you. If you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to be going over the number one thing that you can do to validate a business idea. It's the number one thing that most seasoned entrepreneurs will tell you that you should do really early on in a business to help validate and grow the company. So let's go ahead and dive in. Before we get started though, please hit the thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below. If you subscribe, we'll reply to all of the comments of everybody that subscribed. Really helps us grow. Definitely appreciate you guys. All right, so in this video, we're gonna be going over the 3 things that you can do right off the bat as soon as you have a business idea to go ahead and start validating that idea and take those first steps towards starting the company. These aren't necessarily in any order, but we think that they're all really important, and they're all really great things to do early on, right off the bat. So the first thing that we like to suggest that you do whenever you have an idea is start validating the market right away. Start to take inventory of what's out there, the companies that are already in your space serving the customers that you're serving. You can look into this pretty deeply. You can look at what they're charging, who their target audience is, the different features that they have. You can look at how long they've been around and how established they are in the market. It's also a great time to just validate how big the market is. Is the pain that you're trying to solve big enough, and is there a big enough audience for you to even go after this market? So if it's a really niche problem that you're trying to solve for a very small market, but people are willing to pay a lot of money for that, then that could be a really good business. But if it's a very niche market for a very small group of people, and it's not something that they're prepared to pay a lot of money for, then that might not be a great business opportunity. What we did at Forecaster, and what I recommend doing, is just putting together an Excel sheet. We put together a sheet that listed all of the competitors, the features that they had, how long they've been around. We even looked up how much money they've raised. So for example, whenever we did this, we noticed that there were a lot of businesses out there that were focused in the middle market, maybe more of the SMB space. And then there were some businesses that were focused on really early startups, but it kind of allowed us to see, okay, where are the major players? How are they addressing the space? And how can we be different from them? And how can we create a unique value proposition within the marketplace? It's also a really good thing just to have in your back pocket, because eventually, if you do go out to raise that round of funding, investors are going to be doing their due diligence on the market as well. So they're going to want to know what the competitive landscape is like. They're going to want to know how you're going to differentiate from your competitors. And this is that early groundwork for that, but that's just for down the road. For now, we're just taking inventory of the market to understand how much competition is out there and how much of an uphill battle it could be to start the company. The second thing that you want to do, and this is an incredibly important thing to do, is just talk to customers. Any good entrepreneur will tell you that this is absolutely critical whenever you're starting your business, and you want to start as early as possible. Whenever you're talking to customers super early, what you want to run is a process called customer validation. What that basically means is that you want to talk to your customers specifically about the problem that you're trying to solve. When you do this though, you want to try not to lead them as much as possible. So for example, for Forecaster, a bad example of customer validation might be talking to a customer and saying, hey, I am creating an app that's going to replace Excel for financial modeling, for forecasting. I want to see what you think about that idea. That would be a bad example of customer validation. A good example would be, hey, I want to talk to you for a second about your financial model, how you do your financial projections now, what are your biggest pains, what do you wish was better, etc. In the second scenario, I'm not leading them, I'm just asking them questions. I'm not even telling them what kind of a company I'm trying to create here. I'm just asking them questions about a process that they currently have. Whenever I learn about their pains with the process, I can then take that data and use that to mold what I'm building at Forecaster. Another benefit to talking to customers super early is once you get this data for them, and as you're talking to them, you're building a relationship with them, and you can always collect their contact information, their emails, and get them on a wait list if they'd like. So you're actually starting to build traction really, really early on, as well as learn more about your target market, your target audience. That's why with Forecaster, before we even started building code, we already had a list of hundreds of people that had said that they were interested in the space, interested in what we had to offer. So talking to customers is one of the #1 main points of focus that you should have as soon as you have an idea for a business. Some questions that you want to ask during customer validation are, what are your pains around this thing that you're trying to solve? If you're building an app trying to solve pains around online food delivery, you want to ask them what their problems are with online food delivery. You also want to start getting data on how much money that they would pay to take this pain away. This gives you an idea of price sensitivity in the area and the business that you're building. You can also ask, how painful is it? What is their urgency? What other types of services or applications or technology do they use to solve this pain today? All of that stuff is incredible data for you whenever you're building out your company. And it's also good data to have down the road. Again, with fundraising, investors are gonna want to understand your customers, and you're really gonna wanna understand your customer as well. The third thing that you wanna focus on right whenever you have a business idea is your business model. The main point that we wanna focus on here is determining whether or not you have a scalable business idea and a realistic path to success with the idea. This is also a place where you can determine the cash and the resources that you're gonna need to get the business off the ground and then scale the company. So for example, if I wanted to start a consulting company, and since I'm a finance guy, let's say that I wanted to start a consulting company around financial modeling. Well, that's a much easier business to start than Forecaster, which is an online technology built around financial modeling, financial forecasting. In the former scenario, it's just me. I can go out and start getting customers today and start getting them to pay me right away. In the second scenario, whenever we built Forecaster, we had to go out, talk to investors, raise money, hire a team because me and my co-founder Steven are not developers, and it was a much longer process for getting that company off the ground. This is again where the size of the market comes into play. How much money could you potentially make in this market? What are the types of strategies that you can leverage to grow the company, and are those strategies scalable? This is where even early stabs of financial modeling we think are really, really important. You can outline the types of customers that you're going to be going after, how much you think that they're going to be willing to pay, and then how much cash you're going to need. Really, really important to understanding, is the business scalable? How much money can you make? And is the opportunity there? And now I'm going to touch on the #1 thing above all that you can do as soon as you have an idea for a business to see if the business idea is a good one, and to understand your customers and all around give you data on the future success of the company. And that #1 thing is to start selling right away. You don't have to have a product, you don't have to have a team, you don't have to have anything to start selling. Even if you just came up with an idea 5 minutes ago, you can talk to people and you can try to get them to pay for the idea that you have. There are a few different ways that you can do this. You can talk to customers one-on-one and see if they'd be willing to buy up front even though the service or the product's not quite ready yet. This is called pre-sales. We pre-sold annual subscriptions at Forecaster and it worked really, really well. We got a lot of customers doing this even before the product was ready. You can also do more tactical things that don't even necessarily require you taking money from the customers. So for example, one thing that you could do right away to start validating your idea is create a really basic website of the idea, describing the features, describing the benefits, describing everything that you thought of. You can have a section on your website with a button that says buy now, click here to enter credit card details. You can use paid ads to drive traffic to that website and then measure your conversion rate of how many people actually click that button. When they click the button, you can have it redirect to another website that says things are broken, we're not quite ready yet, whatever it is that you need to say, but you're collecting data to understand how many people are actually clicking that button with the intent to put in their credit card information to buy your product. This is great, but nothing trumps getting cash from customers early. Pre-selling a product or service is a tried and true way to get customer validation and fund the business right out of the gate. It's the #1 thing by far that you can do super early on just to get that validation and to get early data, like I said, on the future success of the company. And that's it for this video, guys. Thanks again so much for watching. Another reminder, just hit that subscribe button down below, hit the thumbs up button. We definitely appreciate you, and we look forward to coming back next week with a new video.